Money is a topic that many of us think about. It's often discussed with our loved ones because, let's face it, it's an emotional issue because we would like to earn more money, keep what we have earned, but aren't sure how. I believe all of us want to achieve financial independence so we can live debt free, work in careers we love, help others, and live a life of freedom. Sadly, many of us fail to achieve financial freedom, working at jobs we hate, living paycheck to paycheck, paying off mountains of debt, living in this hamster wheel where we feel trapped in undesirable circumstances. Achieving financial freedom can be challenging because there seems to be an aura of mystery behind it. We have these dreams and goals we want to accomplish, but we aren't sure how to achieve them because there's this vagueness when it comes to following a path that can lead us to our dreams. But I believe that if we follow some simple principles, we can remove this vagueness and move towards achieving financial independence. Hi, I'm Frank Nunez with Teaching University, and in today's lecture, we'll be discussing wealth building and the importance of getting rich. But before we start this lecture, please subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can watch my latest lectures on wealth building, personal growth, entrepreneurship, and creativity. Many of us make the mistake of chasing after money, hoping that we can earn the most amount of money with as little effort as possible. Now, even though there is nothing wrong with being more efficient when it comes to creating wealth, this mentality can lead to gambling-like behavior and risk-taking. All of us dream of getting rich instantly, but it's this impatience that can lead us to the poorhouse because of the poor decisions we make. So how then can we achieve financial independence? The common answer is we just have to work harder. Now, even though effort is required to earn wealth, working harder alone isn't necessarily the answer. How many of us work long hours yet aren't any closer to achieving financial freedom? The wealthy don't necessarily work any more hours than you or me, but they do think and act differently than you and I. To quote Napoleon Hill from Think and Grow Rich, if you believe getting rich requires hard work, perish the thought. Wallace D. Wattles, author of The Science of Getting Rich, says, every man has a natural and inherent power to think what he wants to think, but it requires far more effort to do so than it does to think the thoughts which are suggested by appearances. To think according to appearance is easy. To think truth regardless of appearance is laborious and requires the expenditure of more power than any other work man is called upon to perform. What Wattles is saying here is that the wealthy develop a vision of the future they want to build, without letting their circumstances, as bad as they are, shape their belief in themselves in a better future. The wealthy become wealthier because they have managed to control their minds by focusing on what they want to accomplish. More importantly, the wealthy not only know how to make money, they understand why they want to be wealthy. And that is because they want to live more life. We want to become wealthy not because we worship little green pieces of paper, but because having more money means more freedom to do the things we want to do while making the most out of our skills and abilities. Wallace D. Wattles says, you want to get rich in order that you may eat, drink, and be merry when it is time to do these things, in order that you may surround yourself with beautiful things, see distant lands, feed your mind, and develop your intellect, in order that you may love men and do kind things, and be able to play a good part in helping the world to find truth. Subconsciously, we want to get rich so we can add increase to every aspect of our lives, so we can live a life of freedom, peace of mind, while making a difference to our community and world we serve. Achieving financial independence, however, requires that we begin thinking in new ways by tapping into resources that go unnoticed to our awareness. Wattles says, there's a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces a thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. Wattles suggests that to achieve well-being and wealth, it requires impressing upon God, universal intelligence, energy, whatever name you want to call this substance, our desires for not just money, but for anything we wish to accomplish. In other words, it's not about praying to wish for something to happen, but to act and believe that what you desire is already yours. Meditating on what we wish to accomplish and communicating with God or our deeper mental faculties can unleash new possibilities we never thought were possible. By adopting this new way of thinking, we can begin to learn how to serve our fellow man by offering products and services that can improve our lives. As I said before, many of us spend our lives chasing money when what we should start doing is to start making money. And that means to start learning how to solve problems that are impacting consumers and society. More importantly, the wealthy build financial independence by owning businesses that encourage innovation, commerce, and while generating wealth for others. Warren Buffett is considered one of the greatest investors of all time because he has figured out how to invest in wonderful companies at a discounted price, helping the development of businesses that have made our lives better while creating massive wealth for his shareholders. Steve Jobs, through Apple Computers, created personal computing products that have become extensions of our creativity, thus revolutionizing a number of industries in the process. The common theme here is generating wealth starts with figuring out how we can solve problems while entering into the ownership mentality instead of an employee mentality. When you begin to take ownership of your skills and develop businesses around those skills that help others, money will no longer be an issue. Finally, when it comes to building wealth, it requires a bit of risk-taking on our part. Taking risks doesn't mean being reckless or irresponsible. Rather, it's putting yourself in situations where you can minimize your losses and maximize your results, otherwise known as asymmetric risk, where you begin to make bets or where you put yourself in situations that there's very little downside but maximum upside. Warren Buffett purchases businesses below their intrinsic value or at a discount, so even if his investment doesn't work out, he doesn't go broke and is still able to stay in the game. Or as Buffett says, rule number 1, don't lose your money. Rule number 2, follow rule number 1. Another example is this YouTube lecture I'm making. There is very little risk I'm incurring when creating this lecture, but the upside of getting more views, subscribers, business deals, revenue, and other opportunities can be massive. Even with personal relationships, the more bets you make by asking an attractive stranger out on a date, the worst case scenario being they simply say no, but the upside the person can say yes and be a potential life partner, far outweighs a little downside. It all boils down to putting yourself in situations you can continue to make decisions that can increase the chance of winning. And if you can win enough times, Lady Luck or Fortune can smile upon you. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thanks for watching Teachable University.